Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this introduction and walkthrough and a bit of a talking about the beautiful Muses of Tarot deck by Ethany. Ethany very generously gifted me this deck for review here on the channel, and I'm really glad she did because this is a very unique item and I really wanted to share a little bit about how I think it's going to be really neat to work with in my own practice and maybe give you some ideas of how a deck like this might have a purpose in your collection. So I really did spend a bit of time with this deck. I also took Ethany's free accompanying course to this deck, which she offers on her site, the Tarot Readers Academy, and it is free when you purchase this deck, the Muses of Tarot. I did that because I think when I first saw this, I was like, okay, so there's 13 primary energies in this deck, but as you can see from this gigantic box, there's a lot more to this than just 13 cards. So we're going to go through the cards. I'm going to talk a little bit about the cards, and then we're going to also talk about the book, which I think is really the heart and soul of this system and gives you, I think, a lot to play with and different ways to work with this particular set. But I think what she's created is really different. It's really creative and brings something new to this tarot space, and I really appreciate her for that because we often get stuck in a lot of the sort of samey products that are coming out, and having somebody bring something new and fresh to the space is just really nice. So I'm going to dive into this. I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys think as I share some of my thoughts. So please do leave those in the comments down below so that other people, especially if you have different ideas than what I've thought about how I might want to work with a deck like this, I think that's going to be really helpful to other people who stumble on this video. But anyway, let's dive into the Muses of Tarot. First things first, it is a magnetic closure box and it's really, really nice. It's a rose petal finish. So when you open it up, you have this gorgeous inlay. Again, this is all soft touch, like rose petal finish, very light rose petal finish. And the pattern here matches the pattern, I believe, on the back of the cards, if I remember correctly. And this book, you guys, we're going to spend some time diving into this book. But this book, for starters, it smells amazing. If you love to smell your books, like it. Oh, it's that color ink. And it's got like a linen finish cover. It feels so luxe and so premium. This book alone, this is worth it for the book. And if you've bought decks like, or if you've bought things like the, what's it called? The Illuminated Herbiary or the Bestiary, you know how you're buying that kind of for the book and then the cards are like an added bonus? You could look at this way because the book is that good. So we'll get into the book in just a minute. And then let's get into the cards. Now, there was a separate envelope with my package that also included an extra card because one of the cards had a typo. So she had it packaged in a really beautiful envelope and set to the side so that I could put the correct deck in or card into my deck. So I have already done that and I put the plastic back on. The time that I've spent with this deck has mostly been around considering how I'm going to work with it rather than playing with the cards themselves. Because these images are, of course, also all in the book. So anyway, when you open this up, you have a ribbon lift out for the cards, and there's this really nice foam tray. And what's even better is that the entire thing is not glued down. You can just take it out. So this box becomes something you could repurpose if you weren't going to keep your cards in here. It's a really beautiful presentation, and this is dense foam. It's not that like flimsy plastic or anything. It's just, you can tell every detail was looked after with this. It's one of the most fun it's probably the most fun I've had opening a package like a tarot box or a tarot related box in a long time. But I'm going to set that aside for now, bring the book just over here, and let's take a look at the cards. So in the deck, you have all 7 chakras, and each chakra card has some really cool associated things. So you'll see some associated colors and crystals and plants and things almost. So every card sort of holds the energy of that chakra. And that really, you can tell, was the intention. I forgot to talk about the backs and the edges. Guys, look at this. Rose petal finish with gorgeous silver foil stamping and black matte edges. And this is gorgeous. It's got this like blue that fades out to black, or rather black that fades into blue. I don't know how you would describe that. Dragonflies, moons, pentacles, planchettes, her signature bee. I mean, it's so cute. Compasses, raven skull. Oh my gosh. It's like just, this is a delightfully magical feeling set of cards. Okay, so sorry, back to the chakras, which is very exciting. You guys know I work with the chakras. The chakras are really important in my practice. I use them constantly. I can't really separate any part of my spiritual or personal development practice from the chakras. They're huge for me. So we have the crown chakra. the third eye chakra. I love here that we have a mirror, like a scrying mirror, perhaps a third eye symbol here. We have this owl. Everything on the card is thoughtfully chosen and definitely is associated with what you see on the card. Here we have the throat chakra. We have a mala. We have meditation candles. We have, it looks like blue lace agate, perhaps, and some other crystals. I'm not entirely sure. There's some music over here, which makes sense for throat chakra as well. We've got a little paper crane. It looks like this is a pine tree up here. I'm really excited about the way that this is all chosen. Heart chakra, an apple, a frog, roses, lavender, tulips, limes. And you start to get the idea as you start to learn more about this deck, you start to recognize that there's so much work done for you as far as associations with every card that just gives you such a great inspiring springboard. Like if I wanted to do chakra magic, I would probably go to this deck first because there's so many great like inspirational jumping off points of, oh yeah, I could use some lemon with this spell, or I could pull in pineapple for the solar plexus. I just think she clearly put so much effort into this. The sacral chakra, I love this. I love the koi or the goldfish over here. I think that really makes sense with the water, and it pulls in the water element as well. Oh, and check out the elementals. So she has fire here in the solar plexus. I totally just noticed this. We've got air in the heart and the throat. Oh my God, it's so clever how this was planned. Anyways, we've got water in the sacral chakra. Look at this with the stones. The root chakra, we have this this snake here, raspberries, pomegranate. Looks like smoky quartz, garnet maybe. I'm just really excited. Okay, so these are the chakra cards. I'm going to set those aside. We also now have the actual muses. We're going to get into those in just a moment. Actually, I guess we need to get into them now because everything else is muses. That's right. Okay, so you have the 7 chakra cards. All these other cards are related to the muses. Now, there was a note with my deck that there is a little bit, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little bit of sort of black from the edging that's kind of stuck on the cards a little bit. And there was a really nice little note that said that you can wipe these off with a damp cloth. Because these have a very slight rose, the cards have a very slight rose petal finish to them. I shouldn't say very slight, but it's a nice rose petal finish. It feels smoother than some of the others I've touched, but that tends to be a little bit of a grippy material. So I have a feeling that all that's happened is the black edging here has rubbed off. They've said you can wipe them gently with a damp cloth, just wipe and dry really quick. I'm not feeling the need to do that right now because I have a feeling it's going to just naturally loosen up as I work with the cards. If I get fussy about it, I'll wipe them down, but I'm really not bothered by that. So next we have the muses. So each muse, and I'm going to zoom us in instead of just holding the cards now. Okay, I should have done that for the chakras too, but oh well. All right. So each of the muses has sort of an area of expertise. Now, obviously these muses are a source, have come from Ethne, right? Like have come from Ethne's channeling or Ethne's spiritual work or her practice. And so my initial hesitance with this deck would have been, well, like these aren't real, like they're not characters that I have any association with. And what I realized is that they're more like a representation. Much like with the chakras, we use the chakra to represent. One of the things the chakras is good for outside of its actual energetic elements is the representation of all the things that it's associated with, right? In essence, I feel like that these muses of tarot, I feel like what they really are is sort of like a collection of correspondences that can help hold intention for different readings. And I have a part of my reading practice where I work with something very similar to that. And this, I feel like, just takes it to the absolute next level. And that's what I'm excited about. And I'll tell you more about that. But I want to get through these a little bit to give you an idea of who you're looking at. So each one of these muses has a different area of sort of expertise. So Adoria deals with love, for example. And you've got a lot of associations for Adoria here on her card. Even just her body shape and her demeanor and her appearance are all very reminiscent of that sort of loving energy. And I'm not going to dive into the details for each one because we're going to look at that when we look at the book, but you'll get the idea as you start to work with these. So we have Adoria. We have Brujula. I don't know if I'm saying that right. We have Crizella. Divina. Delorum. Epiphany. I love the light bulbs on her dress. Holistics. Lolia, Lux, Miravli, Nyx, Sparks, Valia. Is Valia the last one? Yeah, Valia is the last one. So you have a card to represent each of these 13 energies, you could say. And then for each of these 13 muses, you also have an invocation and a releasing that you can put out on your tarot table or wherever you're going to be working with these, your magical space. And you can invoke this energy by invoking Adoria with this invocation, and you can release Adoria. And the same thing for Brujula, Chrysella, Divina, and so forth as you go through the cards. And then finally, there is a altar card. Oops, there's the invocations. And then you have an altar card for each of the 13 muses. And these are meant to be like literally virtual altar spaces. They're images that actually have all of the correspondences for each of these muses. And you can really start to get the feel for the energy each muse has when you look at what the items are that are on their altar space. Like the Rubik's Cube here. The ginger and all the plant medicine you see for holistics. The play tickets, the Ferris wheel, you get that sense of adventure. A lot of manifestation work here. This very much dealing with beauty and self-love. Death and transformation. Creativity. Communicating with spirit. Like you begin to get the feel for who exactly the muses are. So with that said, what I'm going to do is zoom us back out here. Whoops. Let's zoom us back out. I'm going to set the chakra cards aside. And so what I will do when I'm working with this is I'm going to group these so that each muse has her invocation and her altar card. So rather than being all the muses, then all the invocations, and then all the altar cards, it'll be muse, invocation, altar card, muse, invocation, altar card, all the way through the deck. I just haven't sorted it like that yet. So we're going to dive into the guidebook because, again, this book feels, I mean, it's weighty, it's color inside, it's a premium, beautiful, beautiful deck with just a ton of information. And I'm not going to do a full flip through of the book because, frankly, that's just not fair to anybody who's put work into creating something like this. But I will give you an idea with the table of contents of what you can expect in here. And we'll look at a sample muse so you can get an idea. So within the pages, you'll see that there are sections to go to the specific muse that you're working with. And then over here you have an actual tarot card index. And this is where I started to get really, really excited because I don't think I realized this about this deck when I first heard about it. And that is that every single card in the tarot is grouped into one of these 13 muses. So essentially what Ethany has done, if you want to take it away from the muses even for a moment, what Ethany has done is grouped the tarot system into 13 subsections. And within each of those subsections, you sort of have a category to work with the tarot. And so if you're curious what muse is associated with any one of these tarot cards, for example, one of my favorite tarot cards is the Nine of Cups. So the Nine of Cups is page 43. So I go to page 43. And here is information about the Nine of Cups. So this is actually a full tarot guidebook, quite honestly, which I had no idea was going to be the case. And I can see that the Nine of Cups is part of Chrysella's category, right? And she is the tarot muse you invoke in a reading because you are confused as fuck. If that gives you any idea what to expect out of this amazing book, there you go. So Chrysella can help guide you and eliminate confusion while working with the tarot. This is also the muse that is going to get you out of your own way so you can keep solutions simple and uncomplicated. She acts like a telescope, decoder, and sleuth detective all in one beautiful package. So she helps you untangle things. And when we get into the Nine of Cups, it says, the Nine of Cups often shows one very satisfied customer with a big smile on their face and lots of cups in their possession. When working with Chrysella, this card bears good news because you're about to get clarity on what makes you truly happy. Happiness looks different for each of us and is not found by accepting other people's expectations. Another aspect of this card when seeking clarity in tarot readings is that of gratitude. Like our muscles, gratitude should be exercised often to remain strong. When we say thank you to our ancestors, guides, deities, and tarot muses for our breakthrough moments, we make room for more of it to happen. We can see the signs that the universe is sending us with more clarity and act on them with confidence. Experience is a great teacher, and the flip side to this predominantly positive card is what we want isn't always what we need or expect. It's only through experiencing our heart's desires that we realize with crystal clarity the things that make us happy. And that, my friends, is a beautiful explanation of the Nine of Cups, and it gives you something to dive into. So what I'm telling you is that this is a full tarot guidebook with an added beautiful layer of sort of grouping these cards together in areas where they have things in common. And you can begin to start to learn more about the tarot by seeing the cards that share the same space within a muse. So Adoria, who's the muse of love tarot readings, her cards are the Lovers, of course, and the Devil, of course, because those cards have a lot to share, and you'll learn a lot about the tarot working with this book in that way. But also we see Strength, the Two of Cups, no surprises there, the Ten of Cups, the Ace of Cups, everything's making sense here, and the Knight of Cups. And then we have her Invocation and her Release. So you don't actually even need any of the cards to work with the information in this book. You don't need them, but they are beautiful, and who doesn't want cards to work with a book? I mean, come on. Then you have information on creating an altar for her, or you could just simply work with the card. There's information on symbols for these types of readings and chakras. And what you end up learning, you guys, is if you are doing a love reading, these are some of the correspondences and things that you can work with. So think of Adoria as a key that unlocks a grouping of correspondences and things that can boost your reading. So if you were doing a love reading for yourself or for a client, you could pull on Adoria's messages, on her energies, because you recognize that Adoria is really just a convenient package of correspondences that can boost your experience with the tarot. So I think it was important for me to talk about this because I feel like at first glance, it can seem like it is a made up system, right? It is a made up system, let's be honest. But it can seem like somebody's trying to make a deity or something. And that's not, I don't think, what Ethany's intention was here. I mean, I'm not going to speak for her or anything, but I'm just saying, like, this feels like a really beautiful way to start to see the interplay between different cards, between different correspondences, and to start to really pull a little bit of magic into your card reading experience. And here's why I got really excited. Oh, and sorry, before I dive into that, there's also, for every single one of the muses, there is a tarot spread that Ethany has created so that you can actually, so that means that there are 13 really great tarot spreads, and there may be extras. I haven't found or gone looking for extras. But y'all, I'm real excited. I'm really excited about this, and I'll tell you why. Because as it is right now, when you book a client reading with me, I always set up correspondences on my reading table for your reading, which means that as a part of my natural practice, especially with client readings, and I really should do this more for myself. I do it for myself, but I get lazy. You know how it is. It's like the carpenter's house, right? But like when I read for clients, I mindfully select. Right now, my practice has included pulling a crystal or two that I feel like holds the energy of that reading or will support the reading in some way. And I also have been to date working with these Priestess Moon Making Magic cards, and I've been using these for probably, well, ever since I got them. It's got to be like 2 years now, maybe not that long, but it feels like that long. And I will go through this deck if I'm doing a client reading, and I'll either intuitively or I will mindfully and consciously select one or two of these sigils to support the reading. So sometimes I'll do it by blind draw using my intuition to just like, what does my client need to have supporting their reading? And sometimes I'll turn them over and I'll choose the sigil or sigils that I feel like supports the reading. What Ethany's done is taken something like this that is this is a single correspondence, and I found it to be beneficial, right? If I'm reading for a client and I pull out the water card because they want a reading about healing from a past experience, that's been very potent for me in my client reading experience. And it's helped me as a professional reader to focus in on what it is my client needs from me in that reading and deliver that to them. And it helps me to stay focused. And here Ethany has created this beautiful system where now I can actually go in and be like, I've got a question about love, and I can pull in, oh, you know what? I'm going to pull in the sacral chakra card, and I'm going to pull in the heart chakra card, maybe, and I might have these over, and these might not even all be visible to my client, right? And then I'm going to pull out my a Doria invocation. And this probably wouldn't be visible to my client. That'd probably be out of the view like that. But I would probably take a Doria's altar card, and I would probably place that somewhere visible as a placeholder, as a focal point for my client's reading, so that they can see that I'm holding the space for that love reading. I'm holding the space for that relationship reading. And whether I have whichever pieces I choose to share with the client, for me as the reader to have a tool like this that I can actually pull in and incorporate into the reading is, for me, just a really exciting proposition, right? That I could actually have the muse out, have this invocation, and really take the time to set that intention for that reading before I dive in. To me, this is a very powerful set of tools for that. And while you may not be a professional reader, if you're reading for yourself and you take the time to mindfully pull out this tarot muse to hold that intention for what your reading is going to be about, you pull out this virtual altar, and maybe you pull some of these same correspondences in 3-dimension and put them out on your reading table, and you select the chakras that are associated with the Doria, and you put them out, and then you sit here with an invocation and you consciously invoke the energy of this figure into your reading. What you're really doing is you're communicating to spirit, you're communicating to your subconscious, you're communicating that this is what you're focused on. And to me, I see how that can add so much potency and power to a divination experience, whether it's for yourself or for somebody else. So when I realized that that's the kind of thing that you could do with this, I got pretty excited, because I really enjoy correspondences. I really enjoy working with things that are going to help me focus and stay focused when I'm reading. Now, I would not do this in a situation where I was really super crunched for time, because I feel like this is the kind of thing that is intended to slow you down, actually, and kind of get you to be more still and take things in. But I would certainly use these to set up for a meaningful reading for myself or for a client. And I probably will incorporate these, if I haven't already by the time you're seeing this video. I will probably incorporate these off camera or on camera for my client readings going forward, because I really enjoy the mindfulness and the intention setting that they bring. But let's say you're not interested in these cards. I'm telling you, this book, the way that it's written, it's very conversational. There's a lot of really cool information here. It's not written to you. If you enjoyed Ethany's book, Your Tarot Court, this has got a very similar feel. You really feel Ethany's voice in this. You feel her expertise. You feel her passion for the tarot. And there's just a lot here. And you do have access to a bonus course that you can take on her website once you purchase this deck, to go through some exercises with each of the 13 muses and get to know them a little bit better and see how they might work in your practice. But I would say this set is worth it for the book alone, even if you're not sure how you would physically work with the cards. And I don't know that I've heard anybody really talking about this, but I think it's got a lot to offer, and I think it's worth a look. So that is my feelings on that. I mean, keep in mind, obviously I did get this given to me. If that influences, how you feel about my perspective on this, I totally understand. But I always tell you guys what I really think about stuff. I think Ethany did a beautiful job with this, and I'm coming to you with that opinion as a skeptic, because when I first saw this was coming out, I wasn't so sure. But when I saw her talking about it and showing the cards in her first, whoa, that went crazy. When I saw her showing the cards in her reveal, I was like, wait, I see how I can use this. And once I saw how I could use it, it was like, okay, I get it. And once I got it, once it clicked, I was like, yeah, I think I need this in my life. And if you have any questions or comments, if you have any feedback about this deck, I would love to hear down below. Did you already pick this up? Have you been playing with it? And how have you been playing with it? And if you haven't already picked it up and you're planning to, how is it that you would like to use it? Is it similar to what I've talked about? Did another idea occur to you as I was showing you like the system and the cards and the book and all that stuff? I super want to know. If you got this, would you be getting it mostly for the book, for the cards and the book is a bonus, for the book and the cards are a bonus? Like I'm nosy. I want to know. So tell me down below. Please do like this video if you enjoyed this walkthrough and review of sorts of the Muses of Tarot by Ethany, and subscribe if you're new here. I do regular walkthroughs here on the channel of different decks. I do at least one a week, and I also do other fun things like anti-hauls and my Say Yes to the Deck series and self-worth content and magic and witchy stuff and all the good things. Please remember that if you would like to book a reading with me, you can always do that over at supportivetarot.com. Thank you so much, and may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye, guys.